President Trump met again here in Washington with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Among the issues discussed, the situation in Gaza. Here's our recent interview with Ambassador Dan Shapiro. He was the U.S. ambassador to Israel under President Obama. He talked about what a durable peace might look like and what steps would need to be taken in order to make that happen.
I think the priority should be trying to get all of the hostages out. That really should come first, and I think that's where the majority of Israelis are. And there was an opportunity to do that based on the hostage and ceasefire deal that President Trump helped contribute to significantly during the transition. It was agreed to right on the very end of the Biden administration. It was actually a joint effort of Biden and Trump and their teams. And it got into phase one, but then it stalled going into phase two, and that has left a significant number of hostages, live and deceased hostages, still in captivity in Gaza. And without getting them released, it's hard to get on to the next phase. What beyond getting hostages out, again, which I think is the broad priority, it's also going to be absolutely necessary to get Hamas out of power, completely removed from power in Gaza. This was there's no way any Israeli leadership can tell the Israeli public that it's time to move on if Gaza is still ruled by Hamas and they could pose the same kind of threat they did on October 7th. There's no way you could get the Palestinian Authority to start to move in and take over more responsible governance in Gaza. There's no way you could get Arab states to send troops or funds for reconstruction if Hamas is still there and the threat of another round of this conflict takes place. So I think that needs to be the next priority. In 1982, the United States, through very intense and creative diplomacy, brought about the departure of thousands of PLO fighters and leadership from Beirut when it was under siege by the Israeli military. And it prevented a much deeper war, and it also showed that diplomacy can help extract terrorists from locations that are, keep creating those types of conflicts. I think we need to undertake a similar kind of very intensive diplomatic effort to get Arab states to step forward, to delegitimize Hamas, to help facilitate and finance their removal, to get to support Palestinians in Gaza who are now beginning to protest against Hamas. They want them to leave. And then the Israeli government will need to make adjustments because it will need to help empower an alternative Palestinian leadership that could come in and rule Gaza in a way that would live peacefully alongside Israel.
So from my understanding from your answer is that you don't agree with President Trump's plan that the U.S. takes over Gaza.
I don't think it's the least bit realistic. I think it's not something any Arab state will agree to. There's no real place for all of these Palestinians to go, and they can't be forced to go. Even the Trump administration acknowledges that. So I don't think that's a realistic plan. It's not really even a serious plan. And I think it's taken the focus off what should be the priority, which is removing Hamas, not removing Palestinian civilians from Gaza. I don't see U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza as likely or viable or desirable. When I was at the Pentagon, we had been in discussions with a number of Arab states, Egypt, the UAE, a number of other Gulf states, other members of the Abraham Accords, about under what conditions might they be willing to bring in security forces to help stabilize the situation. It would have to follow a successful extraction of at least the main Hamas leaders and a significant number of fighters. Indeed, it might follow an Israeli military operation that's going to achieve that, but that's going to take a long time, be very bloody. At some point, Arab states are going to need to be prepared to contribute to providing some stabilization, obviously some reconstruction, and as I've said, extraction of Hamas to make all of that possible.
In Washington, Shayna Estulin for TV Abraham.